Alright, welcome to this graphing tutorial. This tutorial serves a couple of purposes. One, it's going to allow you to make a nice visual representation of the data from our Rock Pocket Mice activity, but really more importantly, it's a chance for you to get to practice graphing skills, working with Google Sheets some more, because it's going to be important for your final project in this class. So I'm actually going to show you a completed project here so you can get an idea of what we're shooting for, and then after that I'll show you how to do it, and you can follow along and create a graph yourself. Up top you can see a table that has data from the Rock Pocket Mice activity, and it shows the number of mice with light fur. In the oldest picture there are 10 of them, in the next picture 11, 10, 11, and then number of mice with dark colored fur, it kind of remains low, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, I've shifted over to the graph here, and you can see that this data is displayed really nicely. In blue, we have the number of mice with light fur, and it stays high throughout all the pictures. In red, the number of mice with dark fur, that the numbers actually stay really low. We've got a nice title here. It's very descriptive. Color variation over time in Rock Pocket Mouse populations at location A. We have the sequence at the bottom, so the first, the second, the third, the fourth. Ooh, actually, it's missing a title for the vertical axis. We'll have to fix that later. Alright, great. So that's location A. What about location B? It's actually stored on another tab. So Sheets is set up so they can have different tabs. They're actually, each one is called a different sheet. And so at the bottom you'll see location A is labeled here, location B is here as well. And we can say, okay, now that I've switched to location B, the data in the table has changed. In addition to that, the graph has changed as well. And actually you can see a really nice pattern here in the graph that the number of mice with light colored fur over time, they decrease. Because remember, location B has a lava flow, and so the substrate is dark, and so the light mice over generations, they decrease, and the dark mice over generations, they increase. Okay, I'm going to open up a new spreadsheet here so we can start this process over again. Alright, there it is, just about loaded. Okay, we'll get this table going first. You might have noticed that the data was organized kind of like the table was a little bit nicer than some that you've maybe made before. And so I'll show you how to do that here with the color coding and everything. Alright, so the first, that's the oldest. I should probably capitalize this too just so it looks nicer. And the fourth, that's the most recent. Alright, nice. Let me capitalize these other ones real quick. Alright, we've got the mice with light colored fur there, and the mice with dark colored fur in that second part. Okay, one thing you'll notice is we have some overlap here, and in fact if we started to put data in the right cells we'd actually run into some issues. So light colored fur, in the first picture there were 10. Okay, alright, so it puts 10 in there. Ooh, that kind of cuts off one of our titles. We can adjust that, but we can actually change the size of this column, the width, by pulling this over here. Okay, number of mice, now you can see everything. Well actually, let's go ahead and do that for E here too, since column E needs a little bit of extra space. One really cool trick is if you just double click, it'll open it up to automatically the right size. Okay, let's do a few formatting things to help us out here, clean this table up a little bit. The first you can do is actually add borders to the different cells, and so we can select, if you want to select everything, one nice way to do that is to hit here and then go to the other corner that you want, hold the shift button and click, and it'll just select everything for you. Okay, and then to add borders, there's a border button up here. So it'll let you choose what borders you want. Let's get all borders in there. Okay, that looks nicer already. And then we can just add some fill color to make our headings look a little bit more like headings. So you can grab all these. You can also hold the control button and select one cell at a time, and that will allow you to select all the cells you want at the same time. And then, alright, there's a fill button. Let's do a nice light purple. Alright, that looks good. Alright, I've copied the data in here. And so now we can go ahead and make our graph. One thing to do when you're making a graph is you can if you click up in the upper left hand corner, if you click that cell, Sheets is often smart enough to grab all the data that you want. The other option is to just go ahead and grab the whole chart there. Once you do that, we can go insert chart. And it might, oh, look at that. Google Sheets is so smart. It might have almost everything we want. Okay, it looks really good actually. All it's missing are some, we need to fix the title here. We also need to add some titles to the axes. And I'll actually let you do that. You have a good example from the beginning of this tutorial of a good option for the title for the chart, and then you could figure out titles for the axes as well. One thing that I will show you in here is if we go into the chart editor, there's actually some other charts that might be appropriate to use, and you might like them more. There are obviously all sorts of charts. Many of them won't be appropriate. Actually, some of the line charts might be. Okay, that's not that interesting to look at, but it does chart the progress over time of what's happening to the size, the numbers of dark mice versus light mice. So that's a good possibility, but I don't love how it looks. But one chart in here that's kind of nice is a stacked. If we wanted to still stay with a bar chart, a stacked bar chart here is really cool. And so it's really displaying the same data. It's just stacked, the red on top of the blue. Our last task here is to name this sheet. Remember, this is location A, so we can rename it oops. Alright, perfect. And then we need to add a new sheet for location B. So the plus sign will do it. We can name that one location B. Okay, and now you have a blank spreadsheet here. You can repeat the process, but use location B data, and then you'll be able to toggle back and forth between them, location A, location B. All right, that'll do it. After you finish these up, go ahead and submit them on Google Classroom.